Hello and welcome back to another Canadian Disc Golf production. I'm Robbie Holden, joined by my co-host,
Chris Brown.
We are back here in 2025, the first Canadian Disc Golf production of 2025 with a little roulette round at Christie Lake. This is going to be a fun one, Chris.
Yes, indeed. As you can see, it is still winter. I believe this was filmed in the middle of March. So obviously with this winter being as it was, there's snow and ice.
Absolutely, and we have a couples battle here. We are going to be featuring Thomas and Alicia Hums versus Jess Goulet and Bryan McDonald in a roulette-style format. For those not familiar with the format, each team will be starting with 8 discs. The winner of a hole will take a disc from the losing team until that losing team has, or until one team has no discs left.
That is true. You are free to use your opponent's discs if you happen to get a hold of them. So, you might see some people throwing things that they're not usually throwing, but and maybe trying to figure them out if they're maybe getting low on discs. But,
yep.
Have you played one of these before?
I have not. I've been itching to get into one.
What would be your strategy?
Geez, I don't.
Would you go for your own discs, or would you just try to mess with them and take theirs?
I would want to take their disc as much as I could, but I'd probably rely on mine more often to score well and do that. But what are we starting with here on hole 1?
Hole 1, it's 230 feet, but it is uphill, so some people opt for the a putter mid-range, but you can really go whatever you want. The distance control is taken a lot by the hill as Bryan catches the tree.
Yeah, and those trees in the middle of that 2 gaps there are really the only real obstacle, unless you just hyzer out too early into the real junky area. But I wouldn't suspect to see any of our competitors do that here.
Yeah, those sumacs on the left or right, as Jess seems to have. That's not going to be bad. They're going to have a look.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're playing doubles. I should probably have asked before we started this, but
I believe that it is a doubles thing. Yeah.
Nice.
But I guess we'll find out a little more as we watch.
Alicia looks like she threw a Pathfinder there. I could be wrong, but up on the right-hand side. Can have a look, but nobody's really executed this hole that well, as Tom has come up and that's probably inside circle.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely inside circle.
Best one of the bunch, just pushing the trees on the right side there a little bit. Should be able to.
Yeah, hopefully not pinched off too much with the tee. Here comes Bryan up the hill. It looks hard. It looks easier than it is.
Oh my goodness.
What a way to start.
The big putt on hole 1.
Look at this plastic playback from a straddle uphill in the snow with what I can only guess are cold hands. And
just drops right in perfect. I mean, that is absolutely perfect.
Good thing he's tall. He can get away from the trees the way he did.
Yep.
This is Alicia. It's hard to tell with everybody wearing that was definitely Alicia's putt. But
everybody's all bundled up.
Exactly.
And we will have a push here on the first hole.
No discs exchanged, I think. Yes.
Yeah, we're still catching up with the format, too.
It's been a while. Okay.
We're moving on to hole 2, also a par 3, 207 feet. Little bit of a tighter gap to deal with here.
Yeah, this one will be difficult with the slippery conditions because that gap is tiny and it's hard to hit in nice easy days when you don't have to worry about footing. And at only 207 feet, it is attainable, but hard to tone it down. Beautiful.
Yeah, that is. Oh my goodness!
The pole. Give her $1.
And look at the way that spins on the ice there. That is super cool. And that is what I would like to call Jurassic Park. Now Bryan can really try and go for an ace here.
Yeah, that's a really green light to do whatever he wants, including hit the first tree. Oh, he didn't though. That's good. He still got his partner.
Yep.
Now puts a pressure onto the Hums.
And it looks like, are these rubber tee pads?
Christie Lake has a mix of rubber and turf tee pads. Mostly rubber. Honestly, not great in slippery conditions.
Oh my goodness.
Puts it closer off the tree. Another green light for
Yeah,
Thomas.
the trees of Christie Lake acting friendly here early on.
Okay, so these guys are just going to be really good at disc golf. Let's hope that it's not just a birdie fest the whole way through, and we see some real dramatic.
Yeah, we do want to see some exchanges of discs at some point, as Jess does the wobbly legs there.
Look at that! Look how icy that is.
I don't know if anybody brought skates for this, but could have used them. And once again, hole 2, we've got another push.
Yeah, for the first 3 holes, you're probably expecting on a doubles play of this caliber. They're all going to birdie everything. Once you get to hole 4, 5, 6, even onward from there, it gets harder and harder and harder. So, just about holding on for the first and then move on to the back.
What are we looking at here on hole 3?
Hole 3, I think this is from the short. So we are playing. You can do 200 feet maybe. Honestly, I can't remember. But you need to just throw it as straight as you can. There is a drop off behind the basket if you happen to get a little far. This looks a little juicy. It needs to catch something.
And just another park job.
Mm-hmm.
3 park jobs in the last 2 holes that we've seen now.
Collectively 6 feet away from the basket in the last 2 holes.
That is absolutely perfect. It does. I kind of expected that to get a little more like forward sliding motion with how slick everything is out there, but that came up nice and perfect.
This is the other play. You can take a little flex forehand. She just pulls that over a bit. Maybe try to go for the basket.
Yeah. Once your partner's parked like that, it's full green light to just do whatever you want to try and put it in the basket. Here we see Alicia's drive.
It's a little early, but honestly, the 2, that maybe just playing for the putt and just to guarantee that they have a chance at the 2. Or, slippery tee pads.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to assume that Thomas isn't going to be, full green light like he was in the last hole after Alicia parked it. He's going to try and get this a little closer.
Yeah, this is my preferred play. It's just a little flex. Ooh, a little too much flexy, but a little flex on something moderately neutral to overstable on a forehand. And it just comes in nicely.
Who put that tree there?
A little bit of wind we can see today. Nothing crazy. Those Canadian flags on the basket, though, are a really nice touch.
Oh, I love them. And Thomas with a big hit, followed by his signature wave. And that's going to keep us with another push through 3 holes. Just like you said, you really want to stay even here.
Hole 4 is where things will get crazy.
Yeah.
This is where the real difficulty starts. Sometimes they call it a par 4. I think it's just a really difficult par 3.
I agree.
Definitely attainable, definitely gettable. You have to hit that gap, either left or right gap, your choice.
Yep.
But then it has to finish right once it makes it over this hill.
Even I have birdied this from the longs only once in the many times that I've played this course, but it's been done.
Mm-hmm.
It's been crossed off my list.
Everyone can get lucky once.
Yeah.
A forehand's a very common play here.
I agree.
It plays nicely. You don't have to worry about angle control. Just throw it flat, and then the disc will naturally fall towards the basket. Ooh. Wow. That was skinny.
Yeah, that is getting squeaky with it.
Still not parked. Still leaving, an 80-footer to make, but definitely doable.
Yeah, it looked, actually, from that camera angle, it looked like they might have found a spot where it's long, but it's actually wide open.
Yeah. Brian definitely has a capable forehand. I'm expecting him to do well with this if he can make it past the first tree. Yeah, that a little more left than he wants, but it
Oh my goodness.
just bounces and slides all the way there.
Fantastic drive there from Brian.
That puts some pressure on because this is not, especially for Alicia's backhand, you have to really hit this angle correctly. Don't know what disc she's using. I can't tell if it's a...
Kind of looked like a mid, which to me would suggest Mana for the flight shape, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. That's the common mistake, because you have to keep it out left just so it doesn't cut in early. So, common tree, things take some beatings. Oh, and this is what you want to do for the ace run, but a little early.
Still squeaks its way down there for a nice... Well, I mean, there's that big tree that's there, so we'll see if they have to straddle something weird around it.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell from here.
It should be wide open, but there might be little branches hanging in their faces and maybe having to... No, if Thomas is putting straight on this, then it is probably wide open.
Another big putt there for Thomas and the big waves to all of his loyal fans. We get another plastic playback here as well.
Man, if either one of these cards would have taken this at the Christie Lake Spring Fling coming up, then these scores would be doing miraculous things.
Absolutely.
Look at those conditions. Just pure sheet of ice and snow, and they're still birdieing every hole.
Now Brian here to match for our 4th straight push.
Yeah, not parked by any means, but they're both good putters. Ooh, Brian snags one off the chain there. Let's see if Jess can bail them out. They only get one bag, so 8 discs between them. So if they only brought one putter, I guess you're putting with mid-range.
Yeah, well, I think the opposing team gets to choose what disc they want from your bag, so they could choose whatever they wanted. But that will be our first disc exchange of the round.
Yes. That's the strategy you can do. Just take their putters on, especially on a cold wet day like this.
Honestly, we were talking about strategy.
What a nice disc.
What a nice looking putter. Looks like a Luna.
I hope they don't choose that one.
That, yeah.
Hey, hold on. You don't want to get all their discs right now. Like,
Toss them all in the snow. Yeah, maybe that one.
All right, yeah, I think we'll get rid of this guy.
Not the putter.
oh no.
That helped one last
Yeah.
Just like you predicted, Chris, they went with the putter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, putting with a premium plastic disc on a day like today would be my nightmare.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. And when talking about strategy earlier, I mean, that's some real big-time strategy right there. But what are we looking at here on hole 5? We've got our first par 4.
Yeah, first proper par 4. It used to be attainable, kind of, if you could, with people of this caliber throwing over top, but the trees are so tall right now, I think the play is just going to be going up the middle. Ooh, as Alicia pulls down. Did it come down?
I couldn't exactly tell.
Yeah. But yeah, so now with the way the trees have grown, there's a bit more gap down low and the up top gap's gone. So just going to pump something a little hyzer flip, just trying to get to the top of the hill for the easy up shot. Just like, almost just like that.
That just needed to drift about a foot more right, and it would have been home free.
Yeah. Not really not a realistic 2-hole, so as long as their second shot from there is good, then there's no problem for them.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird tweener type hole on this looks great.
Yes.
Fantastic. It's kind of a weird tweener hole where it's very easy to birdie it, but it's nearly impossible to get it to.
Yes, and then it's also very easy to get 5s and worse. So in my mind, a good hole. However much you want to bite off will make your second shot either a lot easier or a lot harder. Brian, being as tall as he is, might have trouble with these short tee pads, not having a clear run up.
Yeah, he's going to be happy with his partner's drive after that one from himself.
Yeah, that was not.
You can see here, even from where Alicia and Thomas are, they still get a nice. Oh my goodness,
that's fantastic. Ooh, a little deep, but that's perfectly all right. This basket sits in a nice bowl, so if you just get it near it, it kind of all funnels towards the basket.
Right now, with the kind of ice and snow, it might make for some even more interesting ground play than we're used to on this hole.
You gotta wonder how they picked their discs. How do you and your partner pick 8 of your 50 discs between you?
Do you go 4 and 4 each, really evenly split it, or do you find ones that you both like to use?
Yeah, it's not like Alicia and Thomas. Well, Jess and Brian might have some overlap, but Alicia and Thomas probably don't.
Not much as 2 sponsored players with different companies.
Oh,
Brian with the early release, but that gets to. That's inside circle, no?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That'll be... There's a little mound there. You can see that little mound that you just have to get over. Not a gimme by any means. Probably circle's edge, 28 feet. Camera never does it justice, so take my word on it. Let's hope they don't lose another stroke just to putting woes.
Yeah. It really is.
Not stroke, I guess, disc.
Brian really keeping the suspense
Yeah.
high there.
Yeah, good job, Cupcake. Well, yeah, very good
Yeah.
putt. Definitely worth the wait. Taking his time, making sure it goes in. A whole lot of things could have gone interesting on, but again, two really good teams here. It's hard to get scoring separation.
Absolutely. Putting tiny little bit of pressure on Thomas and Alicia to hit this putt now.
Yeah, they're not parked either. They got a 25-footer to make.
But
no problem.
yeah, Alicia makes that look so easy.
Moving on to hole 6.
Through 5 holes, we've got 4 pushes.
Yeah, we're going to need to start putting some restrictions on them.
Yeah.
Left-handed only.
Yeah, moving on to hole 6, par 3, 342 feet. What are you looking for here?
This is going to be an interesting one in the current conditions. Luckily, the snow seems to be grabbing. It's actually a surprisingly difficult hole to park because there's a tree on the right that kind of blocks any hyzers. You have to hyzer flip or go straight at it, or you might see a couple of nice big forehands out of a couple of these players. This is a little bit right, but not bad. The basket would be directly behind the sign from where the camera is, so definitely not putting for 2, but probably up and down for 3 pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that hill on the drop-off behind it, running any long putts is not recommended.
No, especially with these conditions. I don't think the disc is going to want to stick around on that slope. Thomas is definitely going to want to get this close.
Taking the big hyzer, it's a good play. It's just hard to get all the way there. Can't tell where that went, but it looked okay. May have a long putt. Again, risking that downhill putt. I wonder what the way the wind's coming. I didn't get to see the flag on the basket. Looks calm, though.
It really does look relatively calm. We heard some wind. Is the
that
wind getting a hold of that?
Yeah, I think that was just a little too andied out of the hand and just goes into the trees. I'm surprised Brian... Wind must not be good for a forehand, because Brian can definitely get this on a forehand.
Yeah, you can definitely noticing the branches in the background there moving around quite a bit.
Looks like a pure headwind, which would take the forehand out of play.
Yeah.
Loses his glasses. That is big, though. That's going to be... Yeah, that's putting. Yeah. Again, these are scary putts. It's tough to say where they are. Yeah, look at this. You're not running that unless you have to.
And now it's interesting. How close did Brian's drive get there? Are they in a position where
they have to run this?
They have to run it to give themselves a chance.
Ooh, that's
definitely full send there. Full send out of Alicia.
Yeah, probably looking at inside 20, so they're not worried. Thomas likes to go for the forehand approach to try and put it in.
Definitely trying to throw that in, so I'm wondering if Brian really crashed down nice and close.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Brian opting to go first. Remember, he doesn't have a putting putter. Definitely putting with slick discs. See what he's got with this. Oh.
I wonder what he would be putting with.
Yeah, the Luna, or that they were saying.
Well, the Luna is what they...
Oh, here we go. Do you take the Luna back, or do you go for something new? He's got it in his hand.
We don't really need that butter. Screw him over. Make it spicy.
Oh, they're taking my PA.
That'd be a clip.
Yum.
PA3 going after Thomas
Okay.
and Pride and Joy. I never go for my own discs.
No.
Once they've left my bag, they've betrayed me.
Yeah.
I will take yours and make them work. I've never won one of these, by the way.
That-
You know, let you
wow.
know.
So that says something about the strategy then. As we move on now to hole 7, par 3, 244 feet. Pretty wide open down the hill here.
Yeah. Thomas is taking the pump cover off.
Yeah, he's the epitome of fashion right now.
Oh no.
This is a pretty
Brian gets
interesting.
that turned.
Could be maybe for the lack of discs in his bag, but this is usually a pretty routine hole.
Yeah.
Just getting something slightly overstable just right at the basket and then just let it fall. So maybe that was just not having the disc he would normally throw. That, if it kept away from that tree, it did not.
No,
It's okay,
and
though.
those branches deep will definitely collect it if it's coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looked like they landed on the path, so they should have a fairly wide open but longer putt.
Yeah, for the tournament, normally this is played as an island or maybe just a peninsula, with where Alicia is going right now being OB in the tournament, but probably fine in this
Yeah.
format. Another common play, just taking an overstable forehand. I don't think he likes it.
No, definitely wanted that wider. But also right out in the open.
Yeah,
Let's
there's
see
a curse on this hole.
who's closer between. It looks like they go with Thomas's drive.
Interesting. I thought Alicia was closer. Maybe they were still playing an imaginary OB line. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
Maybe they didn't like the wind.
That's true, yeah. Could be a wind Oh, and looking at that flag,
Yeah, it had
they would have been a headwind putt.
Yeah.
That gives Jess and Brian an opportunity here.
Do you remember a day in March where you played in a t-shirt?
Definitely.
You do, okay.
I run hot, though.
Yeah.
Big boy.
big lumberjack man.
Yeah.
Used to the cold.
Decent attempts from our group, but we will have once again another push. That looked like it almost wanted to spit back on Thomas there.
These baskets can get kind of bouncy. I have seen quite a few pull-outs, as you might want to call them, in this.
Don't want to
This
leave
course.
any discs behind in the snow.
Yeah, especially if you only have 8.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are a valuable commodity in this format. We get another push and move on here to hole 8. What are we looking at?
240 feet. This hole looks a lot scarier in the summer. Right now, it kind of looks kind of barren, but it's a tiny little gap. You either try to stand up a putter, or probably going to see a couple forehands out here, just trying to throw it straight and make the putt. It's not a very difficult hole by any means, but can get out of control quickly, sort of like that.
Yeah, I know personally that's the mistake that I seem to always make on this hole is just yanking it over too hard, hitting those trees, and it can be a tough scramble from there even, but hopefully Brian can get a nice forehand up here.
The basket is slightly on the right-hand side of this gap, so people try to turn things over too much as when a straight shot will more often than not.
That made it through a lot for how inside it was.
Surprising because they're on one of the turf tee pads, which are quite grippy. So
And other than the snow that's actively on the ground, it looks like a fairly nice day out that they played here.
Alicia also
pretty sunny.
pulls one early, but she gets that secondary gap that gets her a long putt. Is this a Pathfinder on a forehand? No, it cannot be. No, it's not. Definitely not. Even Thomas getting his forehand up a little high.
Yeah. Seems like everyone kind of coming up in a similar area.
I think they heard us talking about them.
I think so.
Yeah, they were talking.
Yeah.
They knew we were going to comment on how good they were, and
The retroactive commentators jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
and then it's like, well, let's give them a show. We want to make some big putts.
And let's see if Alicia can knock one down here.
Ooh. Slightly downhill after the basket, but not anything you really think about. Maybe Thomas did.
Yeah, hard to tell if that was just a really bad released putt or a layup. It's hard to tell.
Find out Thomas. It's definitely not a layup.
Oh, what a putt
Okay.
from Brian.
Brian's putting from 45 feet is really
The
good today.
straddle putt.
The one glove, too.
And that thing is just on. Oh, the hand starts to go up before it's even in. And that is going to be a disc for them. As they will take the lead after 8 holes.
Going into the back 9, you really have to be listening.
That's our putter. We'll just put that right back in there. And having fun with it. Okay, that one. It's the only thing I've done.
A little bit of strategy going on.
I'm curious what they took there.
Yeah.
Not quite here, but I'm guessing going after their slower speed discs is going to be a strategy coming up.
I would imagine so. They'll be using those a lot on these holes. As we now move on to hole 9, another par 3, 202 feet. What are you trying to do off the tee here?
If you could, honestly, if you could figure it out for me, I would love to know, because I am really bad at this hole. It's 200 feet. Dead straight, nothing in the way. Basket's on the edge of a downhill slope, and it just never sticks around. I don't know.
Yet here it sticks around nicely in the snow.
Yeah.
Does a little cool spin on the end, too.
Yeah, Brian throwing that perfectly. And you never know, because you can't see the basket. So they don't know if he's 50 feet deep, 20 feet short.
Yep.
You know, see Tom's trying to get even more of a view by standing on the bench.
With the semi-Captain Morgan stance.
That's
Just
wide.
That's real wide.
But it's not going to be bad, just
Swinging.
a little right. There you go. Honestly, with Brian being where he was, it's kind of a moot point anyways. Yeah, but a lot of people take this wide hyzer to try and get it to hit, but this is more often than not what happens. It just hits the ground, basket high,
Pushes.
and does not stop. Oh,
Wow, that came back nicely.
CT coffee.
Yeah. Just happy it didn't knock over the coffee there. That'd be a waste. I don't want to waste the Tim Hortons.
Time stamping it. The roll of the rim is still on. Yep. But I find lately I've just been going straight at it. This is, there's so many ways to mess this hole up. I don't know what it is about a wide open hole, but it's so difficult.
Thomas just waves goodbye to his disc there. But Alicia did have a nice drive.
Brian being parked, though, they know they have to give 2 good runs at this.
Yep. Let's see if Alicia can capitalize here on the solo birdie.
Right to left wind should help keep it in the air long enough. You just got to get it on line. There you go.
Money, money, money. Thomas loved that in the background.
Yeah. Is that they're running out? I think Thomas even had their Luna in the hand too.
He's gonna try and hit a putt with their putter. The ultimate disrespect, but doesn't need to as Alicia cans that one, and this should be just a formality here.
Yeah. Simple. That's the front 9. Right now, Jess and Brian with the lead. 2-disc lead.
The 2-disc lead.
But
yeah.
And then on to hole 10. 189 feet, but it'll be a difficult 189 feet.
Yeah, it is slightly uphill. It is a tough gap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember what the shot is like from shorts.
It's just a gentle hyzer, but I got 189 feet. You have to take so much off of it you have to take so much off of it to not blow by it that a lot of people end up just like mistiming their shots and pulling it into the trees on the right. I see Jess just did that.
Yeah, it's an interesting touchy distance.
Yeah, you used to be able to take a big like forehand or over the left-hand side, but the trees have grown in and made this a much better hole. You can hear the wind.
Yeah, it is starting to pick up and howl.
That is very short.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking good for Team Jess Bryan.
And we'll see what team Alicia Thomas can do here.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Try and take some off and ends up putting it in the right. That's more common than you can possibly imagine. Sometimes just throwing for it and hoping to catch the basket might be the better bet just for the confidence.
Full send. We'd appreciate watching that here too.
That's a little right as well. The door was open.
Yeah. And that, I don't know exactly where that kicked you. That might not be a very good spot.
I actually kicked it back into the edge of the fairway, so they have a
Okay.
putt. But probably circle's edge. This here you're looking closer to 50.
See, can Brian knock down a big stepper?
Ooh, he has been hitting them from that distance, so wasn't out of the question. And the forehand run is my favorite.
Yeah, with Brian being parked there. Now, after his second, really give it a... Whoa!
Definitely a doubles play there.
Yep.
Okay, they're not as close to the fairway as I thought they were, but definitely doable.
Ooh. That was a good attempt from Thomas.
They're definitely outside, maybe just at the edge of circle or just outside circle. And see, she's not comfortable. There's something in like her chest of having to putt from the right side so much.
Yeah, it looked like she kind of had to do like a little chicken wing maneuver there.
Tapping in threes, kind of surprising on this hole. You would expect one of the four of them to be able to get it, but
Yeah.
like I said, it's a surprisingly difficult hole.
So we get once again another push between our two teams here as we move on to hole 11, par 3, 215 feet. This is a tough one, a late gap to hit as you're going in towards the basket.
And the theme of the course is baskets on hills. Everything slopes
Yes.
away from the basket, so if you don't put it in the right spot, running it can be deadly. This is just there's a lot of stand-up backhand putter mid-range shot. You can flex a forehand if you just want to play safe into the stairs there, and that's beautiful.
Even gets the sweet ground play sliding back down left. As we'll get to see a good view of that here on the plastic playback.
Oh yeah, carves into the spot. With that ice, you never know. It could just keep going.
It does look a little extra slippery in that particular area around the basket there.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see at least one of these guys sliding down that hill.
I agree.
Jess able to give this one a run if she just wants to immediately take one out of the bag. Yeah, no. That tree's in the way.
Yep.
Great shot, though.
Yeah,
Really-
solid effort.
Really pushing the basket.
A couple feet more right, get around those trees, and probably a good ace run. See if Alicia can get one up there nice and close.
A little pulled, but I've seen people make putts from up there before. It's a scary putt, though, 'cause you're putting
Very.
directly at the hill.
Not the putt you want to leave yourself. So Thomas definitely wanting to get this closer.
This might be their disc. I think, isn't that Purple Luna?
It might be.
Oh,
And right on the side of the hill where Brian hit and just trickle right back down.
Wow.
Who got the CTP? Who's closer?
Ooh, who has to putt first? I'm thinking Brian's closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, formality.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Easy tap ins here. As we once again get another push. Is this going to be over before we hit hole 18? Are they going to end it with discs left in the bag?
No way. There's no way if the pressure gets up. Yeah.
No way somebody loses all their discs.
Because they'd have to be at 7 discs now.
Yep.
They'd have to lose every single hole on the way out.
That's true, yep.
So we get a full 18, full docket of
18
disc
battle
golf.
here. As now we're on hole 12. Another par 3, 190 feet.
Yeah, not my...
Real tough, tricky line.
So annoyingly short and easy and so difficult.
It is downhill as well, so
Yeah.
definitely plays even shorter than the already short 190.
Oh,
Considering they got rid of that tree, yeah, that makes it like way different.
now these guys are all friends, but I wonder if the trash talk is coming out right now.
Yeah, we need to get some mics on these guys.
Yeah. It's one of the ones where if you give it too much of an ace run or any ace run at all, like this is, if it doesn't hit something, it is gone. Okay.
And actually stuck around pretty well.
His ground is surprisingly, it must be kind of softer than it looks. The play is a gentle turnover, exactly like this, but just catches the tree. Not much to say about this hole other than you gotta to it in this instance. This looks perfect.
Oh.
Okay, that looks great. Did not get the catch
nice
cam.
and close.
Didn't get a catch cam view, but looks like Brian and Jess putting from circle's edge.
Yeah, some pressure on this one.
Slightly uphill too, so adds a little extra feet.
To stay in the lead.
You know how many times I've wished that basket was the basket I was going for?
Right? I've played with people that thought that's the basket they were going for until they got down.
Oh, wow.
Another huge putt for Brian.
Tallying him up. We got to get a putt distance counter on this by the end of the
Oh,
day.
he's racking it up. So smooth. Money in the bucket.
I think I see Thomas's forehand there, so
Yeah.
that's a mere formality at this point.
Definitely should just be a nice easy tap in for Team Hums.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
What did
That's
you
a
do?
commentator's jinx right there.
It's on you.
That is on me. I'm sorry, Alicia. I'm sorry.
All right, nice tapping for Thomas. Let's see if it works. Okay.
All right.
I don't have the juices, just you.
No, yeah. Only I have that amount of energy to give off.
You know, sometimes you would just want your partner to have that putting practice.
Right? Yeah,
You haven't
exactly.
putted
yeah.
in a while. You both need to hit a putt, just
Yeah.
a thing. Maybe she's aiming for the band.
I hit the last one, so I'm going to miss this. So you
Yeah,
can hit one.
yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, smart play, Hums.
Yeah. As we move on now to hole 13, another par 3, 240 feet.
Yeah.
A little bit of a trickier hole with a nice long tunnel shot.
Probably-
As Jess dices this.
Ooh, that is perfect. Probably the signature hole on the course, I would say.
Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe 18 as being another one. Just a nasty tunnel that if you get off of it all, you are just pitching back to the fairway or making something miraculous happen.
And
This
when you
could
hit
be
it,
an
it's
ace
just
run.
so satisfying. This, oh my goodness.
Had to one up his partner.
Yeah, two fantastic drives there. Pressure onto the Hums team now.
3 for 3 so far on forehands, and definitely the preferred play if you can do it. That looks really good.
Yep, that looks great. Oh my goodness.
Gonna be the
Kind of
farthest away.
Oh, that was cool.
That was cool. Gonna be the farthest away, but definitely
The closest to an ace.
exactly. And that's what we're here for, folks.
Right? We want fireworks.
Taking some sort of a putter. Normally I'd be able to call it her bag, but I have no idea what she's throwing today.
I do not either.
Okay.
Oh, finds a gap through that first initial tree line. They will go with Thomas as it's stuck around close enough.
Yeah, maybe 15 to 20 feet, but after her last miss, maybe some nerves. But no, she missed that on purpose. Never mind, no nerves.
Right, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Got one high, one low. Thomas
One.
just shrickles it over and in.
Yeah. One just high enough. No wasted energy on that putt.
Fantastic drives from the group here.
They really turned it around from that middle stretch of shanking every drive.
And we once again get another push. That's we're on hole 14 now, and I think we've had 10 pushes. Only three holes
Yep.
that have been non-pushes. That is crazy. As we move on to hole 14, another par 3. What are we looking at here, Chris?
Just it's like a mid-range, maybe fairway driver, just slightly overstable. You don't need any rightward turn, just need exactly like this. Catches a dead bounce though.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little more snow built up in this area than we've seen at others on the course, which does make sense. It's a very wooded part, so it doesn't get as much sun. And it might be pretty soft.
Oof. That's a common pull, but honestly, if you get off this fairway, there's so many routes to the basket that if you hit a tree, it's a pretty easy 3 from there.
Yeah, all the trees are kind of planted in like columns, as you can see on the left side there. If you find your way in between one, you basically have just a skinny, but there is a tunnel.
Alicia taking Jess's line right into that tree to get the same one. See if Thomas can replicate what Brian did. Looks like he's got a putter in his hand. It's a lot of distance. It's a lot of shape for a putter. he catches the inside gap.
Yeah, I did like that idea if you got that just a little more right. Very, very slow hyzer on the putter.
Okay. Respectable.
Yep.
That gets him up down.
Good
Gives
tree
him-
direction. Gives
gives him-
Alicia a chance to run.
Exactly.
Overcooks that one a little bit. Just
Yeah, I don't even think they can probably see the basket from where
Yeah.
they were. This is a chance. This is where Brian's been hitting all day.
just leaves that one just a little short. Looked like he was suggesting that one got kind of slammed down. Just to take another hole.
Dead center, right off the pole.
Yeah, slightly uphill putt with some weird footing, I'm sure.
A real chance to kind of put their foot down on the round and get must be a four disc lead and maybe take away some of the discs they've been noticing.
A 2-hole lead as we were getting little holes left here. I don't know why I struggled to come up with with a way to say that, but
It was great looking at your face trying to figure it out. I wasn't about to help.
It was, you can see the gerbil wheel going in my brain. But it will remain a 1-hole lead, 2-disc lead here for Jess and Brian as we move on to hole 15, par 3, 255 feet.
Downhill, hanging basket. If you hit the gap, you're pretty much there. If you don't hit the gap, the upshot is actually very difficult.
Yeah, it's a hole that's surprisingly easy to rack up a larger number if you don't do it right.
Yeah. That's not bad.
It looked like it got a favorable kick.
Yeah, it's not in realistically circle 1 range, but they have a chance at a 2, but definitely an easy 3 with that shot. Brian's left this one inside.
Just tracking right for that tree as soon as it left his hand.
You don't want to high zone early.
Coach Thomas coming out.
Yeah. Little change up in the game plan.
Better work, Thomas. Gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, add some pressure to you now.
Oh, that's not where you want to go. There's going to be some trouble there. Lots of trees. There's a gap, but I don't think she made it far enough to really work that gap.
Yeah, kicking down left like that is a very tough spot on this hole. Thomas.
What?
Oh my goodness. That's not a line you see very often on this hole.
I don't even know what that was.
I'm not exactly sure where that ended up.
Yeah. They said not bad, so.
I like that.
Yeah, they definitely got trees blocking. Gonna have to float something in there to give them a chance to get an extra disc. No
Oh
way.
my goodness.
You know what's funny is that Thomas and Alicia will be closer than this, which I don't believe, but great putt from Brian. It's racking up another circle 2 putt.
Now I really want to know what the total putt distance is for Brian on the day.
They got really, really lucky to get this far. They're basket high, probably 30 to 40 feet right. Definitely doable, especially knowing that they have to make it.
Huge putt.
Yes, Alicia.
We get another plastic playback.
Definitely 40 feet plus.
Yep. 2 massive putts from both teams here.
Really pushing it to the final hole.
Absolutely, and that, I mean, Thomas and Alicia really needed that to stay in this as we move on now to hole 16, par 3, 176 feet. Assuming we're probably going to see a bunch of forehands here.
You would expect it. It's not far, so the forehand is pretty easy, and you have to keep it low, so turning something over is difficult. This is one where I'm expecting 2 birdies out of the card. So, as Jess gives that a run down the hill.
Really going full send on that one.
Really wanting the ace.
Yeah.
I'm never seeing this ace, I'll be honest with you. My 11 years of playing.
This would be a really fun one to get.
That looks a lot better. Good speed control. The snow has been grabbing lately.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that's
You
good.
can see how much the snow is grabbing. I feel like when that's just kind of dirt there, that's going to slide pretty far.
Alicia going with the forehand with whatever this disc she's been throwing. I wish I knew what it was. Let's get around the tree. Oh, she does.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
The V tree. A lot of putts through it. A lot of the putts that have to go through it if you just come up a little short.
Let's see if Thomas tries to get a big skip here. Try and skip it in.
Goes inside.
Yeah.
Again, I was expecting 2 birdies on it. They both have chances for it. It's a rather easy hole, especially in doubles play where you're allowed to make a mistake.
Yep. And without Brian's been putting today, that one you knew was going to go in.
Mm-hmm. Keep the hot hand hot. Smart play by Team Jess Bryan. Look at this.
And a good cleanup there for Team Alicia Thomas.
2 more holes. 2 more holes for Alicia and Thomas to figure out how to steal back a disc.
Yep. They need to win both of these to win outright, I guess. Or unless we go to extra holes, I'm not sure. We'll see if they end up with a tie after 18.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Absolutely.
Now I kind of want it.
Right? Yeah. We want free disc golf. Some extra free disc golf. As we move on, hole 17, another par 3, 236 feet.
Down the hydro path. That looks okay. A little overstable, but they're going to be putting from circle's edge left.
Yeah, with how that looked from the initial behind the tee camera and what sounded like Brian's reaction, I thought that was going to be a lot worse, but that came in just at the edge of the edge of the rough by the looks of it.
Yeah, definitely another speed control hole. A lot of that on this course where you can't just throw it and then have it stop. You have to really tune it down and not put everything you have into it as Jess comes up a little short into the trees. Ooh, flippy.
The big turnover.
That'll be a 45 footer.
Flip up, I should say.
She just made one of those, so maybe feeling the hot hand. Maybe she'll be ready to go. I wonder what Thomas has got here. He's been throwing that pink disc all round, right? Or was it a clear one?
No, he's thrown that a few times, yeah.
That thing is tacoed. It's got finger dip.
Come back a bit. This looks money. Wow, it just lost life at the end.
Time to replicate.
No, early and left. She knew that right out of her hand. Thomas with a big time putt now.
And also leaves they kind of needed that.
Yep.
For this, because this is still makeable by Brian and Jess over here. Didn't want it.
Nope. Jess still might.
Time to add to the tally of putting distance on the round.
This would basically lock it up with only 18 left to play after this.
Oh,
that was a good run. I like it. We get another push. Is that still only 3 holes that we didn't have a push on?
Mm-hmm. So we're at
amazing
14 pushes.
Amazing battle here from the two teams.
I would say 80%, 70, maybe 70% birdies.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's been fantastic. Some big putts, great drives, and we've got 1 hole left. Hole 18, par 4, 349 feet. What are we looking at here, Brownie?
So this hole will be difficult in a doubles format to get a stroke on. The common score is a 3 or a 4. If you hit the gap more often than not, you're getting a 3. If you don't hit the gap, you're probably getting a 4. It's very hard to 2. Not impossible, but very difficult. So that's really good.
Yeah, that is.
I think she
really
may
good.
have got around the corner. She absolutely got around the corner. They have a chance at a putt at a 2, but definitely not taking worse than a 3.
No.
So Alicia and Thomas are going to have to pull something out in order to make this work.
Yep. They're going to have to do something crazy. And still got Brian here who can try and get something even better, but yanks it over.
Did you see that?
Coming back?
Yeah, it was like bouncing off
Where
the
did that
ground
end up?
towards the camera guy.
Alicia winding up the backhand.
With that putter she threw on the last hole that kind of flipped on her, so maybe try for a hyzer flip here. Ooh, and she does.
It doesn't really flip.
Yeah, weird. Still in a bad spot.
Nope.
She's in that 3 zone.
Yeah.
Thomas is really going to need to flex this around the corner. Hopefully getting something overstable. They need to get close enough to make a putt. That looks like it's done it.
Oh my goodness.
I've lost it.
Where did that go?
I don't know, but either way,
Is
they're
that it
putting.
right there?
This is Jess, right?
I think this is Alicia, right? Jess has a blue sweater on.
We should have.
I know. We've been watching for 17 holes already.
Yeah. Okay, that was Alicia. Still a chance, though. Thomas really
need
needs
to
to
hit
give this
this.
everything he's got. That means that Brian and Jess are closer than this. Oh,
And just gets away from him.
Jess and Brian can just lay this up and they're kind of pinched off, but that's pretty much locked it up right there. They're not both going to miss that.
Within their range and
And
get
it
that
does
up
it
even
better.
closer.
So it looks like it's locked up right now. There's nothing Alicia and Thomas can really do at this point. There you go. At least solid putt to finish it out, make you feel good about yourself.
Absolutely, and that'll capitalize it. Only losing 2 holes on the day,
Yeah.
and still losing this by 2 discs total, 1 hole.
Mm-hmm. Solid play all around. Definitely can tell it was mid-March golf.
Yeah.
Lots slippery conditions, cold hands.
A
Brian.
great battle by both teams, and congrats to the winners.
Yes. Brian and Jess taking it home for the first, you want to call it, doubles roulette round.
Yep.
The really exciting to watch. Excited for more of these too. That'll be fun. Get some different names in here.
Yeah, this is a really fun format, and we got a show from the competitors today, so that was really fun to watch, and nice to be here with you, Brownie.
Yeah, buddy. It's good to be back for 2025. Thank you to Miss Mando. You want to say something about that?
Check out my podcast with my hosts, Sean and Galen, and tune in to our last episode. Just came out recently for an interview with none other than Chris Brown, who's sitting right beside me right now.
Anyways, thanks again. Check us out on the next one for Canadian Disc Golf Production. I am Chris Brown.
I'm Robbie Holden.
Have a good one.